Alright, getting back at this today. Still in the same state as it was before. Cabinet's empty and everything. But I'm slowly starting to work on stuff. Hopefully I'm going to work on the monitor some today. And I'm going to finish cleaning some stuff up. Basically cut some 3.5 by 3.5 by 3/4. Need to replace the blade on my chop saw. Obviously burning it up, so need a new blade probably. And then this stuff here is going to clean up pretty easy, this rust here. It's really just surface rust, but I'm going to clean that up, remove all this off and clean it up. Alright, I got the monitor back down into the basement here on my workbench. Basically used a brush and that was pretty much it. I did not wash it, but I pretty much got most of everything out. The shield here is pretty rusted, but I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm not gonna mess with it. Just cleaned it up as best I could, and that is what the chassis looks like. I mean, look how filthy that thing is. Ridiculous. I'm thinking about actually putting this in and seeing if it works. Yeah, I might do that actually. I'm going to restore the tube first, put it on the CR7000, and I'm just looking inside there, inside the anode. I'm going to hook up my CR7000 first. I'll be right back, and then we'll mess with this. I've done this a bunch of times, but anyway, I'm going to use, I don't know what kind of tube it is, so I'm going to use the 19 VMA P22, which is 100 negative bias and video 1 setting. G1 short's good, HK short's good, and I can't get my blue gun into the cutoff. So I need to go to extended cutoff test. I do have life, but obviously on the red and green guns. But I need to drop down my bias to negative 84 and then adjust them all into the cutoff. And then you can see I have bad tracking because my blue, I have to use too much blue in comparison to the red and green. And then if I go to high emissions, not terrible. See, my blue gun has better cutoff, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do low restore and then come back, and I'm not going to film every step. I'm just going to come back and go through it, low, normal, high if I have to, reactivate, and then I'll film how good I get it. So also, I typically don't put them on the face of the tube. I know some people say like it burns off stuff and the electrons fall down. I think the holes where the electrons through the grids are probably so small. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's a myth, but anyway, I'll leave it like that. Alright, I've been messing with this on and off while doing other things for like an hour or more. Obviously not playing with it the whole time, but basically I've hit the red gun like with the extended setting a couple times, maybe high. I mean, I've tried to crush it and I still can't get great emissions, but my cutoff is fine, as you can see here. Now I set it to negative 132 in video 2, negative 132 bias type video 2, which will increase the G2 voltage range. I mean, if you go to, and then if I go to emissions, definitely better than what it was for sure. And I have good tracking in both cases, so 100% better. I would love to get better emissions, but and better emission life, because it is not great emission life, but I'm gonna leave it like it is. It's better than it was, that's for sure, and I'm sure it's going to be fine in the game. What that means is emissions is it has at least, 50%. If it's above this line, it has more than 50% of its gun life left. So that's pretty good. All right, now I'm going to hook up the chassis. I have my TPG hooked up. Let's turn it on. No idea if this is going to work or not. Yeah. All right, let's power this thing on. I'm using my Atari transformer here. See if we get a picture here. Yep. It's completely working. Just need to adjust the horizontal hold and stuff. So, alright, I'm not going to do more than that because I'm going to take the chassis out and clean it up and probably do a cap kit. But I just wanted to make sure what I started with, if I started with something that was known to be working. So, alright, I'm going to clean it up and need to order a cap kit just for preventative maintenance. Never been capped. Alright, nothing too interesting here. Just cleaning everything up. I don't know if I just showed this. I painted this thing. Did I show this already? Painted that. Cleaned up the metal plate here. I don't know which side I'm going to use. Probably this side here, I guess. I didn't wet this whole transformer. I just cleaned it with a brush and a little bit of light water and stuff. And I'm de-rusting some screws, obviously. But one thing is, I actually am working on my Sinistar as well, and this is the mirror. And look, this is after I cleaned it. I mean, this thing was just completely covered in rust, so I just cleaned it really quickly. And I'm going to stick it in a vat of rust, and I figured I'd film it real quick just so we can see what the results are. But it is completely rusted. This is the monitor reflection mirror for a Sinistar cabinet. So all the other Williams cabinets, not Defender related. But that's the before. I'm going to stick that in there, and I'm currently drying off the monitor chassis here, but it looks good. As you can, or much better, I guess, as you can see there. And I ordered a cap kit, so have a little bit of waiting to do. And that stuff is just on there. Yeah, cool. But yeah, much better. Obviously, it's much cleaner and everything. So I can cap that, and that's it right now. That's the progress I'm making. All right, I have the metal plate at least all cleaned up. I put some navel jelly on some of the areas because I didn't want to. I sanded it first, and then I put some navel jelly so I could get into the hard to reach spots. But pretty much just sanded it and then treat it with some. I use WD-40, but there's better stuff out there to kind of keep it from rusting. This is that's completely smooth. It's not rust or anything. I don't know what that is. And even the bolts, I kind of got most of the rust out of there. So basically, whoops, my crappy chair there. We probably can start putting the boards back on, and I think maybe even power the thing up. I think it's like this as an example, but I might do some board work first or try to clean up the board before I mount it. And I'm actually going to replace this header here. I'll replace the power header and maybe clean up that part real quick over in this area. It's a 74 S74. Yeah, this chip was definitely replaced based off of the repair that was done. So I'm going to treat this board again and just see if I can clean it up a little bit better. Alright, so I'm going to get some of these boards ready. This is the ROM board, and I believe this chip here it was replaced, this 6821. And you can see that the headers were removed, and I think somebody in the last video wondered like why, if these boards were repaired, why were the headers removed or something. But I don't know what happened, but this was actually in the bag of parts that I got with the replacement headers with the game, and that looks pretty darn mangled, right? I mean, that's probably one of the reasons why they wanted to remove the headers. Now who knows how well they were desoldering that. But the header was removed off of this. I think this is the interface board as well. Dang, I need to be careful with that. Yeah, this is, I think, the interface board. And I actually had, a long time ago, when I was planning to do a Defender cabinet, I picked up a board set for Defender. And this is an all matching set, numbers matching set, 481986. 481986, yeah. So it's a little bit earlier. But you can see that one's actually a little bit mangled too. And the soundboard is actually bigger. So this is probably an earlier soundboard. I might have to do some research, but this one's a little bit larger of a soundboard than the one that I'm working on right now. And then definitely some ROM changes there. Red stripe versus solid red, I'm not sure. But I figured I might actually test both of these board sets since I'm working on it. Might as well, right? So, going to replace some headers there, replace some headers on the power supply. I'm not going to film everything, just showing what I'm doing. Alright, this is the CPU board. I'm going to replace this header up here just for good measure. It actually looks okay. And I did use some toilet bowl cleaner, and it does look better. I mean, especially like right here where this battery is, you can actually see some of the copper now, and it ate up some of the corrosion. Like the legs on this thing look pretty good. I'll have to actually go back, and should have probably taken a before picture, but I'll watch the video to see. I still don't love this socket right there and how that looks. But that was the repair work done. I don't know why I don't like it. It just looks like it's kind of corroded still, but not nice and shiny by any means, but I think it's better. And if it's broken, then I'll repair it, I guess. It's not worth taking all those chips out, I don't think. Alright, so I'm going to replace this and then replace the headers on the power supply, because I plan on using it, I guess. Alright, busy reassembling everything, and I just wanted to highlight Albany County Fasteners, zinc number 8, 32 by 1/2 inch, Phillips panhead. Always have a few of these on hand when you're working on Williams games because they're always missing some. I don't know why. Whenever somebody removes these boards, they never get the nuts and bolts back. Now, I need to get a tumbler, but I did de-rust all the screws. You know, it's not great, but the rust is off. And reassembled this here as well, so it looks pretty decent, I would say. We're going to power it up here soon, and maybe even put this on the bench and test it out. But finishing assembly, I need to get my, I think this goes like this way. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, it's got to go that way. Alright, be right back. Actually, I think I have this board upside down because I have to look at the schematics and stuff, but I think the ROM board, this plugs in right here, and then it goes into the soundboard there from the ROM board. So I gotta flip this around real quick. I think I caught that real quick. Alright, I have my Williams JAMA rig hooked up. The only thing I'm not sure about is the soundboard. I have -5 volts, and it says in the schematic -12. I'm gonna try it anyway. Maybe that, it's been so long since I've hooked everything up, I don't know if that's normal that you use -5 there and it works fine. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure everything else is fine. Let's see here. Yeah, and also I'm not sure, hopefully this is a composite sink on a Defender board. I know it is on Joust, and I have my sink inverter on my JAMA adapter there, so that should be fine. And here's my power, and I think that's it. That's kind of nervous. I think everything's hooked up. Let's give it a go. That's positive. Oh, that's awesome. Initial tests indicate okay. Okay, cool. I don't remember what I had for my tests and stuff. Crapola. High score reset. Let me just reset it. Board's working. That's a good way to finish up. That's weird, huh? I'm underscanning it. There we go. Defender 1980. Board set works. Didn't have to do any troubleshooting. Awesome. So now I just need to get the cabinet ready and maybe the power supply. And I don't have a controller hooked up or anything like that, so that's all I can do is normal stuff. Let's see if I coin up. See if my speaker works. Yeah, my volume works too. That's kind of weird how I have the artifacts on the side there. Normally that's at the top. So that's interesting when I'm underscanned on the PVM. Alright, I'm not going to mess with it too much. Obviously it works, which is a positive for me. I don't have to do any troubleshooting. I might hook up my other Defender board and troubleshoot that. We'll see. Alright, actually, looks like I do have a problem here, I think. I can't start a game. And I'm working the service menu here. I don't know about sound 2. What the heck's going on there? But it looks like it invalid. I get something on that interface card. So I think something's wrong with the interface card, and even when I coin up or try to coin up, there, I'll show you in a second here. Alright, if I try to coin up, I have my test lead grounded here on my interface, and one of these is player 1 or 2. And I have 8 credits in there. You can see that right there. So, but nothing. Can't coin up or anything. So I am going to try my other interface board and come right back. The one that this one right here. This one that I had in that I was planning on working on. But I might as well try it because obviously something's going on with that. Or it's on the CPU board controlling the interface board. Alright, have my other interface board hooked up there. And it does seem to be working because I can coin up. And I can move up, I can move down, reverse, hyperspace. So all that's working. So I definitely have an issue with this with the original interface board, and I will investigate here in a second. Alright, so I was doing a little bit of research, and I actually do have some 6821 PIAs on hand, and I could just shotgun it and see if that's it. I don't think it's the cable. It could be, obviously, but I just have my doubts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab 5 volts from here. I'm going to disconnect my cable right there, and I'm going to grab 5 volts and ground from right there, my 5 volts, so I can power the interface board without it getting any inputs from the CPU board, because I just want to see it. When I was going through the menu, it seemed like something was being activated all the time, like maybe one of these TTL chips is bad and it's one of these lines are shorted or something else. Maybe one of those. Those are capacitors, right? Yeah, and resistors. I don't know. I just want to power up the PIA and see what it looks like without having anything go on with it from the CPU board. I don't know if that makes sense or not to do, but that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll come back if I find something interesting. Alright, so let me think here. Actually, I don't know what that chip is. But basically, there's two jumpers here. One is W1, which is right there, and one is W2. Now, these are the red ROMs, so W2 can stay in for the upright. Like, I think you take W1 out for cocktail and W2 out for uprights, but you can leave it in if you have the red ROMs. That's what I read. And this is original, so I'm assuming that's why it is the way it is. So let's see, what else was I going to do? So I'm powered on, game's running obviously, but it's not connected with my cable. And one of the things I was going to do is to basically, each one of the controls, like thrust or up or down, comes through one of these inverters and then into one of these LS 257s, which is like a 2-for-1 multiplexer. And so one of them's primarily being used for player 1 and the other one maybe for some player 2 stuff. I'm not sure, but this is all, most of the controls are here. We got like, I don't know what, thruster, and then there's player 1 start, 2 start, and then up and down, and then this is like up over here. So what I figured I would do is just ground one of the switches. And first let me look. So one of the inputs, I think it's PB something, but they're all grounded. If I go to pin 2, that's pin 3, pin 4, 5, 6, 7, they're all low, right? But if I ground one, the first one, and I come to my first input onto the PIA, you can see it goes high. And that's pin 2 on my PIA. And then if I go to the next one, obviously it's a little harder when I'm holding the camera here. And then I go to pin 3, now pin 3 is high. And I just basically did that for each one. Like I'll go to this one and then go to pin 4, 2, 3, 4, and verify it's high. And that's basically verifying that the inverter that it's going through plus the multiplexer is working correctly. And I did that for all the inputs, and they were all seem to be going high, and I think that means my PIA is bad, basically. I don't know. Oh, this is just a resistor. That's just a resistor pack right there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this PIA. I would say it's either that or this cable. I guess I could ohm out the cable real quick, but I just have a feeling it's the PIA. I don't think it's this cable. Well, I guess the cable could be shorted too. Some lines could be shorted. I might look into that real quick and then replace the PIA. So we got this replacement 6821 in there, original board back in. I did test a couple of continuity tests on this ribbon cable. I didn't test all of them. It looked like it was fine. I don't know. I just replaced the 6821. I think that's our issue, but we'll find out. Hopefully I did okay. Alright, let's see. Initial tests indicate okay. Now, I couldn't even coin up before, so basically I'm just going to see if there's credits, which there should be, I think. And then we're going to player 1 start. Let's see. Maybe not. And then we'll start a game. Yep. Up works. Down works. Reverse. Cool. I don't know if I was trying to film all of that stuff, but I don't know where my camera was because I'm looking at two things. You get the idea. Yeah. Anyway, interface card fixed, so that wraps that up. I think I might wrap up the video. We'll see. See how long it is, and then this is about the end of the second weekend of me working on it. So the board set is completely ready to go. Got to work on the power supply still. All right, I think that's it for this one, guys. Next weekend we'll hopefully have more of the cabinet ready.